Welcome to the Stuff and Things Podcast, your home for all stuff related to your favorite things in entertainment. Now, here are your hosts.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the Stuff and Things Podcast, catch-up edition. I am Sam, joining me with my partner in crime to talk all sorts of things Marvel this week. It's Stefan.
We have returned.
Yeah, so apologies. We vanished on you and it's all my fault.
I mean, technically not your fault. I mean, it was your fault, but it wasn't technically.
Yeah. I mean, I can take the brunt for it. So yeah, I got taken down by COVID. COVID, the Delta variant, kicked my ass and is continuing to do a number on me. But day to day, I'm here. I'm still kicking on, and fingers crossed that will continue for many a moon to come. But yeah, no, it absolutely wiped me out. And obviously, no one wanted a podcast of a guy coughing for 45 minutes. So we decided
I refused
to wait.
to do it by myself. Yeah, I chickened out.
Yeah, what is with that, man?
I'll be honest. You bring the structure to the podcast, and I just kind of add in random blurts of dialogue.
Jump in, and I saw this, and I'm like, damn, he was on top of the truck. I didn't see that.
Yeah, so without you, it would have just been me blurting random dialogue. It wouldn't have flowed as well.
There would have been some people who would have liked that, I think. I mean, we did get a few messages. I want to say a big thank you to one or two people who emailed me just to kind of like check in that I was okay, because they obviously knew we keep to a pretty good schedule normally.
You're welcome.
So appreciate that. So just to catch up then. So yeah, I got taken out by COVID, which was crap. So we didn't finish Loki, episodes 5 and 6, the finale of Loki, so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Yep. We also didn't do a show for the Black Widow release, so we're going to talk a bit about that. And we've also missed the beginning of Marvel's What If, so yes, of course we're going to talk about that as well. But yeah, personally, during this break, whilst I've been laid low, my partner in crime, Stefan, has gotten married. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and just for everyone listening who are big Marvel fans, and that's why you're listening to this version of the podcast, you got married with jackets, etc.
My waistcoats,
my waistcoats. Yeah. Tell the good people.
So my waistcoats all had Avengers or Marvel characters on the back. I can't say Avengers because Deadpool was on one of them.
Yeah.
I had Iron Man, obviously. The best man at the wedding had the Hulk. The groomsmen had Deadpool, Thor, Black Panther.
Do you know, funny enough, I think...
And Doctor Strange.
Funny enough, I would have picked the Hulk.
Yeah, you were my original best man, but COVID and everything else.
Yeah, don't tell people that. What if the new best man's listening, dude?
Oh, no, it's fine. He managed to make a point of that in the speech. It's fine.
Oh, excellent. What, that he was second choice?
Yeah.
To be fair, if it was me and I was second choice, I'd have done that as well. Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, I loved it. The pictures are brilliant. But yeah, married man. How are you feel? Do you get that? Because I remember when I got married, there was like a couple of months probably, and people would say stuff like, "Oh, how's the wife?" or something like that, and I'd just be like, "What? I'm not old enough to be married." Oh shit, yeah, I am, and I am. Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah. How's the what? What?
Yeah, when did that happen? Oh, I remember the big party. Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
I remember most of the big parties, so that's apparently a good thing.
Yeah, see, my overriding memory of my wedding is just that I bought dinner for 250 people and it cost me a freaking fortune. You go out with like a table of 8 and you're like, damn, that was an expensive night. Why did I agree to pay for everyone? Yeah, you tried doing it for 250 people. Anyway, leeching gits. I had friends coming out of everywhere. Oh, do I get an invite? No. Anyway, right, so let's get back to it. That's our personal update done. Yep. So this is going to be an update show. So let's start with Loki. Let's do it in some sort of order. The Loki finale. Obviously, we did episodically episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4. There were episodes 5 and 6. Now, we're not going to go into massive detail in the episode, so apologies for that, because obviously time's gone on. But we do just want to talk about how Loki ended, because obviously it connects in with the MCU. Yep. what did you... I mean, I know we're looking back now. I mean, you probably watched this about a month ago, but what did you think about the actual finale? So the actual episode of the finale? Because my overriding feeling of the finale was kind of like... I didn't know where it was going to go. Obviously, we had the whole kind of, it's going to be Kang. It's going to be Kang the Conqueror. Who the hell's this guy? Oh, it is Kang. It's a variant of Kang. Oh, so he talks about variants, and it was kind of weird. It was kind of like an episode where, you know, like when you get to a finale of a series, typically it's like the climax. It's like, this is the action episode. It kind of felt like it was completely stripped back because they were just kind of sat down having a conversation.
Yeah, it was all very much like
odd.
I didn't know what to expect of Kang. I really didn't. I didn't know whether our last big baddie that we had was obviously Thanos.
Yeah.
Who is ginormous. And then you come up with he was the Mad Titan, and now we've got Kang the Conqueror. So in my head, I've already got a Thanos-like being, this massive guy who's just going to destroy everyone. And there's just this dude just sat there yo, I'm Kang. How's it going?
Didn't you find it interesting as well? But at the same time, don't you think that was kind of good? Like a real contrast. Like a villain doesn't have to be 8 foot, 6 foot wide, muscle bound.
I think it made him scarier.
Bang on, man. Yeah,
because it's now a case of, well, wait a minute. If you're just like some ordinary dude like this, what can you do that makes you so terrifying?
But it was menacing. But the kind of weird thing, and this is like I watched Loki with my daughter, so I watched it episodically, and then I watched all 6 episodes in a day with my daughter, as kind of like she wanted to watch it, and we binge watched it. So I'd watched them all. Had a bit of time, obviously, because I wasn't well. Watched them all with my daughter, and one of the things that kind of struck me is she was baffled. Like, she's watched all the MCU films, she really enjoys them. She's watched the Disney Plus shows as well, but she was just lost watching this. And I mean, this is kind of she's 13. It's a kind of target audience territory, really, for the MCU, isn't it? Like, 12 plus is kind of like where they want to be. I know they're obviously aiming stuff at our age group quite a lot as well, but it kind of felt like she was completely lost. And I'm sat there and I'm trying to explain stuff to her, and I'm like, do you know what? If I didn't spend a lot of time researching online, I would be lost as well. Yeah,
there was a lot of... They used the Loki series to throw a lot of little nods to the real comic book fans. Yeah. Things like the Thanos helicopter.
Yeah.
Little bits like that would have been there as real nods for the hardcore, in brackets, nerds. Yeah.
Nerds, but let's face it, we're there. I don't think you can have levels of nerd, can you? I don't think we can go... Yeah, we watch the movies, so we're kind of nerdy and geeky, but you guys read the comics, so you suck.
Yeah, you guys are full on.
Yeah, super nerds. Because it was like that, and I kind of liked it, because I liked it. I watched some of the breakdown videos afterwards, various people who were very heavily into the comics, and they were breaking it down, oh, this was good because, we got to see this. And I was like, oh, that is fun. That's nice, because when I watch some of these things and I spot something, I'm over the moon with that. I'm like, oh, that's that. Oh, that's great. So I can understand why they do it with the Easter eggs and things. But I did find the overarching story and the finale especially, I really had to do a lot of reading. I really had to research to find out what the hell was going on.
Yeah, this whole... So they've now brought back... So the Sacred Timeline that we kind of know a little bit about from the Ancient One.
Yeah.
And bits. We had little tiny bits, but this has made such a thing of it.
Yeah.
And then, I've had to go and research a bit more about Kang the Conqueror, because obviously he wasn't what I expected.
No.
And all this, when he was like, yeah, go on, kill me, I'll be back soon, don't worry.
Yeah,
it's a loop, don't you worry about it. And I'm
What I found interesting about the character who was there was he didn't appear to be a villain. It appeared to be that what he was doing and why he was doing it, actually, in his own mind, whether he's right or not, was because he was protecting everyone from a evil version of himself, who is, of course, Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Don't you think that was interesting in itself? Because the way he kind of said things like, if you kill me, you're going to unleash the other guy. Do you know what I mean?
Which was just mental. Like, obviously, so the episode before this, we've obviously met all the variants.
Yeah.
You know, we've got Gator Loki, who is just fantastic. I want to see more of him.
Gator Loki's going to get his own animated show.
Gator Loki and his trip round Florida.
You just know Gator Loki is going to get an animated show spin-off. There's just no doubt in my mind.
Oh, surely. And Richard E. Grant as like the old man classic Loki. Oh, it was fantastic. They were.
Yeah.
But we'd already kind of touched on these variants. And then we met all the other variants of like President Loki and all this. So we've had all these different variants. We know they're all around. Which is obviously going to be fantastic for the Marvel lot going forward with the multiverses and everything else.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yep.
But then those Lokis were all still very much the same.
Yeah.
They all want the same thing. They're all going about it the same way.
They're all backstabbing each other.
Yeah. And all of a sudden we find out that actually, well, this Kang is, in quotations, the good Kang. Because he's not that good, but what the other guys do is a lot worse.
Yeah.
So now you've suddenly got a whole new type of variant where we're now looking at, well, wait a minute, does that mean that, you know, a lot of the rumours, for example, are about the Spider-Man movie?
Yeah.
And how we're going to see the variants of the original Spider-Man.
Well,
could one of them now be a bad guy instead? Because we've now opened this kind of can of worms of not all variants are the same as each other. And it's like, oh.
Well, you're not wrong. And I mean, it's kind of interesting because we've seen so many kind of leaks about the Spider-Man movie, but actually not anything's been confirmed. And even to this day, as we record, which is the 20th of August, they've not released one trailer. Not even a teaser trailer, nothing. And the rumours are persisting that they're not going to, which is kind of unheard of, isn't it?
Can you imagine a movie comes out, no trailers at all?
But at the same time,
damn, that's building up.
It's kind of badass, because do they need to release a trailer right now? I mean, I still think they will. I think Sony will. I think they've got, what's it called? The sequel, Venom sequel. I think they'll release it with that. But it just, like, the sheer amount of buzz about the fact there's not been a trailer, there's no trailer, what's going on?
Can you imagine,
Why haven't we seen a trailer?
The trailer is literally just like a spider web hitting the screen and Spider-Man returns this date. That's it. You'd be like, what?
I mean, to be honest with you, from a marketing point of view, the thing is building itself. It's interesting, you know, but like you said, the stuff that happens in Loki, as far as we're concerned, appears to link to that quite heavily.
Yeah.
We know Doctor Strange is going to play a major role in Spider-Man 3. We know that. That's kind of one of the few facts we've had released. And we know that Doctor Strange 2 kind of is the next MCU release after that.
Which is linked heavily with WandaVision. So it's all linking together nicely.
It is. It's all knitting together like a beautiful multiverse. Oh, hang on. I tell you, I did see something which made me laugh. And me and you have already talked about this. Is because of Marvel, Disney reacquiring a lot of the Marvel characters when they purchased Fox, the kind of spin-off Marvel stuff like the X-Men, etc., that was in there, Deadpool, they are now back in, and so they are trying to find ways to reincorporate that into the MCU. They've already announced there's going to be a film of Blade, and so far a lot of people are kind of going, well, the way they could do it quite simply is, you know, these are tangents from a multiverse that we're now seeing, rather than smashing them all into one universe. Doctor Strange could literally be a character that flicks between them, like, hey, in this universe there's mutants, interesting, you know.
We've got the Avengers. Our universe has the Avengers. That universe has the X-Men. That universe has something else.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting, but I did see a thing which did make me laugh, is Ryan Reynolds has written a draft for Deadpool 3.
Yes.
And basically he had a meeting with Kevin Feige, and Kevin Feige said, you, and I can't remember the other guy who's writing, apologies, basically said, like, go away and write it and go Just do what you want. Like, don't try and edit it thinking, oh no, I'm now with Disney. You know, you've made 2 films that have been box office. So write what you want, and then we'll look at it and we'll go, okay, here's the line. You can't do this. You can't say that. But write what you want, and then we'll work from there.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing that's circulating is that Ryan Reynolds' draft of basically Deadpool 3 made Disney executives literally panic.
We're gonna not have that at the House of Mouse.
Literally, you cannot do this. You cannot say that. There's loads of stuff out there of people like leaking stuff. And Ryan Reynolds in an interview basically said that they had to show me where the line was, and apparently I'd passed it some time ago.
Yeah, like, you remember in the first one how he's got his unicorn?
Yeah.
In the third one it was a stuffed Mickey Mouse or something.
Yeah, you just something.
He would have just
bad.
gone all out. But...
something bad. I mean, there was Trump jokes and stuff that Ryan Reynolds made on a podcast interview that he said he tried to put in there. Deadpool trying to kill Trump while sliding through time. Loads of stuff, loads of things that you just know that they'd be like, you can't do that. Ryan, no. But yeah, there is a lot of stuff. I mean, one of my favourite things that Ryan Reynolds has proposed, or again, Kevin Feige said in an interview he won't discuss this because he sort of said, I won't confirm or deny. But there's a thing that Deadpool is going to become the new cameo character.
Oh, he's going to take over from the Stan Lee role.
Basically, he's looking for Stan Lee because Deadpool is aware he's in a movie. He's meta.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that you're going to see him constantly popping up, but looking for Stan Lee, which is kind of like, it's got a tinge of sadness to it, but at the same time, you just know Stan Lee would love that. He'd think that was the funniest damn thing on the planet, and he would just be so on board with Ryan taking that mantle.
I can just imagine now, like Captain America 4, you got a real scene going on with the new Captain America, and in the background, Wade Wilson going past, going, "No, little guy, white hair, glasses." Yeah. Sometimes there was cane. No.
Again on the same podcast interview, he said he had visions of him putting up missing signs in the background and stuff. I love it. I mean, I love the ideas because that, for example, you could have a film dead serious and you could be really into it. But you always have to have, in Marvel films, you always have levity. So you always have moments that are kind of amusing and stuff like that. They don't take you out of the film because they're good. But if you just had that, and everyone could just kind of have that moment of, oh, that's hilarious. No, I don't think that'd take anyone out of the film. I think that'd be like a Stan Lee cameo. It would just be like, there it was, I spotted it. But anyway, that's a sidebar. So Loki kind of wrapped up. And one of the things that when it wrapped up kind of surprised me, and I'd love to know what you think. It's got a season 2.
So it's the first one to have a season 2.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe it is purely because of how loved the Loki character is.
Yeah.
Like, they could have easily made that a one and done.
Yeah.
And they've realised how loved Tom Hiddleston's character is.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, do you know what? We can't really bring him back to the movies because he's dead. No. So therefore, let's crack on. And I am all for it. Like, I am okay with that.
I just find it interesting because obviously the story sets up everything with Kang, which we know is going to become a bigger thing into the movies.
Yep.
So what is season 2 going to resolve?
Season 2 is going to be him going through the multiverses, and he meets the X-Men, and they turn around and go, "That Thanos bloke," and Wolverine goes, "Yeah, I aimed for the head."
Yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, season 2 could quite literally be interlinked with the movies and then set something else. I mean, it's just it was interesting to me because I was like, WandaVision one and done. Everyone kind of said that. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you could clearly see what that was doing. It was all about the transition, so that way Captain America 4 is now Sam, you know.
Yeah, so that is again one and done.
Yeah. And then with this, because of that, I was that's where my expectation was. So when they said at the end, we'll return for season 2, I'm like, but if they do it a year from now, we'd have had Spider-Man 3, Doctor Strange 2, and Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, all of those three films are heavily linked to Kang, multiverse and stuff.
Oh yeah.
So by the time we get back to Loki, are we going to be reliving those events but through Loki's eyes?
I feel like that could almost be like Operation Cleanup.
Yeah.
All these multiverses are opening, and there's Loki and the TVA now desperately trying to jump through everything, trying to clip branches as fast as possible.
But of course, in the finale, when Loki goes back, he's in a different variation of the TVA.
Yes.
Because Mobius is like, who the fucking hell? And you've got the big statue that was the Timekeepers is now Kang.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun.
I mean, it's going to be fun. I mean, I think we'll draw the line on Loki there. I mean, it's interesting. We've got a season 2 to come. It's not been confirmed when that will be yet. But we'll keep our eyes out for that. And obviously, the show is heavily linked us into all what's to come.
It's going to be good.
It's going to be interesting. So that moves us on to Black Widow. The film Black Widow launched in cinema and on Disney Plus, which has caused no end of problems for Disney.
Let's not even open up that can.
Yeah, that's not. But that's what they did. I watched it on Disney Plus. Did you go to the cinema? Or
I went to cinema.
Yeah, how was that?
Weird.
Yeah, was that? I mean, you cinematic goer, maybe once a week at times.
I absolutely love it. So me and my new wife.
Yeah, nice.
Oh, that was weird. And we have there's a lot of cinema chains. Yeah. The cinema chain that we go to has something called the Unlimited card.
Yep.
We pay £18.40, or if you're in America, about $45. For this card. I don't know what the exchange rate is at the moment.
Nice.
We have a card, and basically we can go to the cinema as many times as we like per month for this monthly subscription.
Nice.
We were meant to get one before the whole COVID thing happened, and we never got round to it. But yeah, I go to the cinema. I like watching cinema films. I love being at the cinema.
Yeah.
The cinemas reopened, and I very much stayed away.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, thank you. And then the Black Widow film came out, and I was like, well, if there's ever a time I'm going to go back, it's going to be now. The cinemas have set it up very well so that no one can sit around you, and they've all done it very well. And I went back, but it was a very strange feeling.
I bet.
I've now been back about 4 times since Black Widow, so it's back to normal.
When you're in there, do you have to wear a mask?
You have to wear a mask until you sit down.
Okay.
And you're meant to... This is at the beginning. You don't obviously... Now the masks have kind of gone, but originally you had to wear a mask to your seat and wear a mask when you weren't eating or drinking.
No, okay.
Which basically related to wear a mask until you sit down and then continue to eat popcorn. So it was a bit of a hit and miss, that one. Whereas now there's no masks at all, but they've still got, like, you cannot sit directly next to other people.
Yeah.
So there's, like, always at least 1 or 2 seats in between every group and stuff, just to space you all out.
Nah, right. Okay. No, I haven't. But I mean, I got taken down by COVID pretty hard, so I'd have been an awful person to go to the cinema during that time. But yeah, so no, I watched on. I mean, I'm really thankful for what they did. I mean, I know there's a big debate about which we won't go into. But for me, it's like giving people that option was kind of great.
I'm fully on board. I mean, they charged more for it on Disney Plus than they do at the cinema. But
well, the thing is, if I went to the cinema, I wouldn't go alone.
No,
so like
if I was 2 people, it's popcorn, it's drinks, it's sweets.
So it was the same price, really. I mean, and to be honest with you, I was fine with it. I was kind of like, I want to watch this film. I don't, ironically, I had COVID, so I can't go to the cinema.
Yeah.
So the actual film then. So focusing on that. For me, there's kind of like there's a massive positive from this film, massive positive, and that's Yelena. Florence Pugh plays Scarlet Witch's kind of sister, if you like.
Yeah.
A very kind of adopted, strange ass relationship, but plays a sister. She is phenomenal in this film.
What a character!
The character is amazing. Like, you got to remember, this is an English girl, and her Russian accent, everything through this is flawless. It is incredible. She is absolute next level.
Yep.
And her line delivery and her mannerisms, she is, for me, the star of this film. Like, absolutely. And I think, based on what they've set up, it felt like this film was a kind of a baton handing. Kind of
very much, yeah. You will be the next.
Yeah, this is for you to take on. This is kind of like Scarlett Johansson was like deliberately taking the back seat. But in saying that, I'm watching a film called, The Black Widow.
Yep.
It's a kind of a fill-in, not an origin story, because we kind of know that, but kind of filling in the gaps for this character.
Yeah, this is kind of what happens after Civil War and...
Yeah. So that's when it appears in the timeline, but you learn about the Red Room in more detail, and you learn about Budapest in more detail.
Yes.
And all of these things,
Not enough detail. I still want more Budapest.
Yeah, we should just have a film called Budapest and just be about that. But what kind of stood out to me is like my daughter loves Black Widow. That was like her favourite character. The film finished and she basically said to me, it wasn't that much about her. I was like, what do you mean? She said, well, she wasn't really the star. She hardly says anything. And the funny thing is when I watched it again, she's right.
It was kind of like, remember Captain America Civil War?
Yeah.
It's all about Captain America. It's a Captain America Civil War. No, it wasn't. It was about Iron Man, Bucky, and everything else. And it had the same sort of feel as that. It was called Black Widow, but it was more against Yelena. It was more against, possibly, and I'm going to say this out loud, and I'm going to get hated for it, Marvel may have finally made their first bad casting.
I'm with you. I think we're talking about the same character.
I do. I love Ray Winston. I think he is absolutely fantastic. He is a Cockney gangster. He is not a Russian mafia.
Yeah.
It just did not work.
No, let's get that out of the way. His accent was terrible. It slipped constantly.
Yeah.
And as a villain in this, it made no sense. There was no...
There's no menace behind him, nothing.
He was bad. I mean, there's supposed to be a scene like he's got this pheromone thing and she has to break her nose.
Yeah.
All of that should have been like intense and stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of... Yeah, I don't know. I kind of left that. I mean, Taskmaster as a character...
Again, I was disappointed by
all the trailers were kind of like, oh, this is going to be so good. And didn't really have the same impact.
The Taskmaster should have been a good couple of movies worth of bad guy, because the character is so unique. Like, they can watch, and they changed it as well. So the Taskmaster that I knew or know of would study people, and be able to mirror them.
Yeah.
Whereas this one is more like a hard drive plugged into the back of the head.
Yeah,
it felt like it was like, oh, I'm just going to upload Captain America's fighting style into you now. There you go.
Yeah,
I was like, no. Why change that? Don't change that. Like, the Taskmaster is such a unique baddie.
Yeah,
and they ruined it, and that's it. Now Taskmaster won't be back. That's it. It's done. And I'm like, that was such a wasted opportunity for a bad guy.
I do wonder about Taskmaster coming back, because obviously at the end of the film, the remaining Black Widows take Taskmaster and they all leave together. So they are still out there.
Mm.
And obviously we know Yelena's out there. So yeah, it's kind of... Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know whether we're going to perhaps see them show up, because I think the Yelena character has basically now been set up to appear in Hawkeye, the Disney Plus series, because she's been set down this path. Basically, she appears to be working with the
Val,
dare I say, the bad Avengers. The kind of, we're not entirely sure what this is setting up, but I think it's setting up the Thunderbolts.
That's it, the Thunderbolts.
Yeah, which is, I don't know if that's movie worthy, but Florence Pugh is. Florence Pugh's character in Yelena in this film, I mean, I know I said it at the start, but genuinely, everyone that I know who's watched this film has come away with it just going, wow, that character was great.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about, like, just sort of clear your mind for a minute, pick out your favourite scene or a couple of scenes from the film, and I bet it's hers.
Oh, yeah.
You know, her mimicking the fighting pose thing, which apparently was them.
Yeah.
Which apparently came from them goofing around off camera, and the writer went, "Oh, we're putting that in."
Yeah.
That is cool. Good. And the way she then does the landing later, and be like, "Oh, what the hell?"
Yeah. Don't like that. That's not fun.
Yeah. Do not like that. The everything, like the lines of, like, when they're sat having a beer and they're just talking, her and her jacket, by the way, which we need to talk about because obviously that links to Nat. You know, talking about how she's got pockets in it. It's
yes.
just like, she's so excited. It's the first bit of clothing she's ever bought herself. I mean,
and it's got so many pockets.
Someone posted online saying that Yelena having little sister vibes for 10 minutes straight, and it's so true.
Yeah.
Just perfect cast in there. They got that bang on. We got to talk about Rachel Weisz as well, and David Harbour as the kind of dysfunctional parents, because there are scenes that they are in that are just next level. I mean, the scene where he's getting into the suit just made me think of Mr. Incredible from the Incredibles.
Yeah, it still fits. It still fits.
Yeah, it doesn't, buddy. Something that happened there then, I'm just going to pick up on this one thing, a bit of a tangent. He's in the jail, the Red Guardian, and he's talking about how he was battling Captain America.
Can I pause you just for 1 second? Because I have a little bit of a moment.
Okay.
That jail scene... was built partly by my mother's boyfriend. He's in the credits at the end of it. And the jail scene is one of his big bits he did, Yeah,
that's really awesome, man. I love
it. It was damn strange as the credits went up and I saw his name. He's like smack bang in the middle of the carpenters' names. So the name was just there. I was like, wait a minute.
No, that's good. I like that.
But I never got to fight my mum for the red carpet tickets because it never happened. But yeah.
Yeah,
carry on with the prison scene.
Move on for that.
Yeah.
So he has this scene where he's telling stories that are prisoners. He talks about how he battled Captain America, and they all kind of mock him a little bit by pointing out that Captain America was on ice when he's talking about it.
Yes, I was confused by this.
No,
I couldn't tell if this was just a general piss take or.
So, is Red Guardian just full of it, or? Did Steve Rogers, when he put the stones back, just live out his life happily with Peggy? Or did Steve Rogers still do some stuff during that time when he was supposed to be on ice?
Now, I'm glad you've mentioned it, because I have seen these. Like, there are odd tweets and stuff going around about this.
Yeah.
And I dismissed it, like straight away dismissed it. Oh, maybe he did fight. And I'm like, how? He was on ice.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid. And then you start going, oh, wait a minute. He did go back and live his life. He did still have his shield because he gave the shield back. And I'm like... Yep. Did Captain and Peggy still do the Captain and Peggy stuff?
Yeah.
But together.
Yeah. So it's
just
just
throwaway, but brilliant at the same time.
It's a throwaway that opens a door if certain people would like to step through it at any point.
Yeah.
Do you see what I mean? It's kind of like... There you go. The door's open for you, Chris. Just letting you know.
Just in case you ever want to return.
Yeah. Just in case you want to see if you can fit your ass back in that suit. Yeah, it's America's ass. But yeah. So I mean, there's so much in it. Such a good film, enjoyable film. Like me and you have both said. Unfortunately for me and for you, Ray Winston let it down. Which is not a slur on Ray Winston. I think the casting was simply wrong. Or if you're going to cast Ray Winston, cast him as a Cockney. Cast him as that.
Yeah, if he had been a Cockney geezer sort of bad guy, it would have been perfect.
It just, it just didn't work for me.
No.
But the rest of it I enjoyed. And like I said, the setup for Yelena, fantastic. The end after credits scene, Yelena visiting Natasha's grave.
Yeah. That was hard.
There's a moment where she does the whistle thing.
And there's that little part of me that waited for it to come back.
Every part of me wanted to hear it come back.
Yeah.
Every part. And then that bitch shows up, Val.
Yeah.
And you're kind of like, you ruined it, Val.
I think Yelena turns around and goes, I'm on holiday.
Yeah. But it sets stuff up, so I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, it's...
Yeah, one of the bits I was wondering, so Yelena's there at the grave, and Val turns up.
Yeah.
And she doesn't turn up as if she doesn't know who the hell she is.
No.
Yelena's like, I'm on holiday. Go away.
Yeah, they are already working together.
So is Yelena going to be a good or a bad guy? Because obviously, if she goes hunting down Hawkeye, then that instantly puts her into the bad guy category.
Yeah. So right now we're saying bad, but let's just talk about Hawkeye for a minute. In those 5 years, Hawkeye was not a good guy.
Exactly. Yeah, he turns into his other alter ego.
During the snap, his alter ego Ronan was straight up murdering people. Now, he was murdering bad guys, but you're still not allowed to go around murdering people. That's kind of still a no-no. And he was doing it brutally. Like we see the scene in, I think it's Endgame.
Yeah, when she goes and finds him,
Yeah, where he is just ripped through this kind of like Japanese town, just killing everyone who came near him, basically.
Yeah.
And she kind of brings him back by giving him that hope, and that, the fact he's able to bring his family back then grounds him, and he's able to recover himself. But that 5 years still happen, and one of the things I think the MCU's exploring, which I really liked in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, and I think Val is going to take it forward throughout these shows, is that the people who were in those 5 years have got their own damage.
Yeah.
They've got their own kind of like, you think about, in Captain America Winter Soldier, Carter, Peggy's niece.
Yep.
Sharon Carter. She's a baddie now. She is a big villain. So those 5 years turned her
They've
completely.
Changed a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the experiences of these people during that time is influenced it. And so although we're looking at Yelena now as part of the Thunderbolts, you're the bad guys because we don't trust the Thunderbolts. They sending her after Hawkeye might not necessarily be the act of bad guys, but more the act of, we are the government and we're now hunting down this guy who murdered people for 5 years.
Exactly.
So,
and she kind of uses the fact that he's the reason that Natasha's dead as like an extra ammunition for her to go, I'm going to mess him up.
Yeah, which is brutal in itself. But I just hope we're going to get a conversation. I just hope, because I think, his relationship with her sister was one of like best friends. They were closer. They were like brother and sister themselves. And so
way more so than what Yelena and Natasha were.
Yeah. Yeah, and like we all know that he wanted to go himself and literally fought her to be who would go, and she basically won the fight.
Yeah.
Which, he was broken about. So yeah, it's going to be so good.
Can you imagine, he is that broken over the fact that Natasha won that fight and got to go, and now he's going to be met by someone going, "You killed her." He's going to be there like, no.
It's gonna, but it's going to be good, don't you think? That's going to be really interesting.
Oh,
the Hawkeye series has been announced. It starts in November. We are obviously going to be covering that show on here because I'm looking forward to it. The basic synopsis of it seems quite interesting. Basically, a Hawkeye super fan tracks him down to be trained by him.
Yeah.
Kate Bishop, I think the character name is, who is basically takes on the Hawkeye mantle in the comics. So, yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. I like that, and I think the film kind of set that up nicely.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to remember as well that Val appeared in Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes.
But her appearance in Black Widow should have been first.
Yeah, we should have already known who she was.
Yeah, that should have been her first ever appearance. So then when she rocks up in Falcon and Winter Soldier, we should have all gone, "Ooh, it's her again."
Yeah, we should have known.
Not the other way round.
Yeah, exactly. End credit scene. Oh my god, it's her. Whereas actually, it should have been Captain America.
It should have been, who the hell is she?
Yeah, and instead we get into Winter Soldier and we're the Falcon and Winter Soldier. And we're like, oh, that bitch is back again.
Yeah,
instead of who the hell is she?
So it came out the wrong way round, but you know.
It still worked. It's fine.
Yeah, it's still fine. Yeah, we got there in the end. It's all good.
Yes.
So moving on from that, if you're happy, we then move on to Marvel's What If.
Yes.
Marvel's What If is an animated show, and What If title literally lends itself to cracking open the multiverse and telling stories of what if this one thing changed and we got a branch kind of timeline.
Yes.
Now, when I first heard the concept, I thought it was going to be just a kind of like throwaway, what if Captain America wasn't Steve Rogers? What if Iron Man wasn't Tony Stark? So when I first sort of saw that, I didn't think much of it being linked in. I just kind of thought it was going to be a standalone. But now I've watched the first 2 episodes, I think this is actually linked in to everything because of the multiverse.
Because of the multiverse, yeah.
The Watcher, you know.
Now, I've had mixed reviews on this.
Episode 1, I enjoyed it, but it felt weird.
Yeah, I said to you, didn't we? Something was wrong.
Something just didn't fit, and I can't for the life of me. And I think what we said was, it was basically the story we knew with like a little tweak to it.
Yeah.
So it kind of just felt off, and I think that's what it was, because the end bit, like the Hydra Stomp bit and stuff like that, was kind of like, oh, this is fun. This is kind of crazy that Steve becomes the first Iron Man, and the Iron Man suit's built by Howard Stark, not Tony Stark.
Now, what was weird is that Natalie actually really enjoyed it because she said all the little links to the film, like there's little sayings and little things happen. She's like, oh, that happened in the movie. That happened. So she really enjoyed that. Whereas
the Bucky line, the Bucky line about, "Whoa, you nearly ripped my arm off." I mean, that did make me laugh.
That made me chuckle, yeah. But then, whereas me and you were kind of like, yeah, but they've not changed it enough.
Yeah, it just felt like. It just felt odd. It just felt like there was something like, and like there's, like I said to you, I can't pick anything that was wrong. Yeah. I just didn't. It didn't feel right. Now, episode 2
was the complete opposite. So this was now like a complete new thing.
I sat there basically smiling and enjoying it from start to finish, and I'm just going to say it right now, tinged with sadness.
Yes,
because obviously the main character in this one was T'Challa, and was voiced by Chadwick Boseman because he recorded it some time ago.
Yeah.
And,
there was a definite twinge. When he first started talking, I was like, wow, they're going to have had to have recast his voice. This is going to be a bit kind of controversial. He said the first bits, a Ravager never travels alone. And I was like, no.
A Ravager never travels alone.
And as soon as I was like, oh, dang. Okay.
Man, rest in power, guy. I mean, his acting performances and everything I saw him in were next level, and he gave this comic book character to the world in a lot of ways, because it's a character I think everyone knew, but he basically made it and just went, here you go, and Wakanda forever. I mean, it just phenomenal, and hearing his voice again was both wonderful but sad. But focusing on the actual show, there was so much in it which was funny, because the idea that they'd abduct the wrong kid is so Taserface. I am Taserface. And they're like, look at him, he's got 2 ears, and they're like, he's black for a start.
This is obviously the wrong guy. Yeah.
So, I mean, that just the whole tangent that it sets up, and the fact that T'Challa is such an amazing, warm-hearted, kind person that he turns everyone into better people.
Which I love. Even Thanos is now just a barman.
Even Thanos now works in a bar because he had a conversation with T'Challa, and he basically went, oh yeah, you're right, murdering half the galaxy probably isn't the way to go. But the fact he keeps arguing his point of, like, it would have been efficient.
Yeah, everything is like, man. But think about it.
Everything was so good. Just so fun. I mean, the idea that T'Challa's running around with Thanos as a mate is just hilarious. And by the way, the little blue meanie, Nebula, who's like a proper angsty teen almost, with blowing the hair out of her eyes, embarrassed by her father on a regular basis, like, Dad!
It was so good. And the fact that they got so many of the original people to come back and do their voices is phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant! Because you think about it, that the guy Josh Brolin is there voicing Thanos, basically sending up his performance as Thanos, having fun.
Yeah.
Which is great. Really random, right? And this is really random. They had Drax in it.
Yes.
But they didn't ask Dave Bautista to come back and do the voice.
No. I'm wondering, was this all filmed, like voiced, when they were having the big argument over Guardians 3?
I guess it must be.
Because it's not Chris Pratt's voice at the end either.
Oh, is it not?
No, I don't think it's Chris Pratt's voice. I didn't see his name anywhere on the credits.
Oh, okay.
And I'm scrolling through the IMDb now.
No, you could be right.
Peter
I
Quill
don't know.
was Brian T. Delaney.
Okay,
so it looks like they were two of the big ones that were kind of on Gunn's side, weren't they? So I wonder if it was recorded at that time where they were like, no.
Well, all I saw was on Twitter, someone tweeted Batista just going, I just saw Drax show up in What If, and why weren't you in it? And he said, no one asked me.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it was done at that time where there was all the fallout over Guardians 3.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's been in development for a long time because, we all know that because Chadwick Boseman voiced it. So, so the first one is basically Peggy Carter becomes Captain Carter. She gets the serum instead of Steve, and Steve becomes the first Iron Man or Hydra Stomper.
Yeah, which I love. I must admit, I did love the concept behind it.
That was fun. And in the second one, basically, the idiots kidnap T'Challa instead of Peter Quill.
And the Ravengers become the saviours of the universe.
Yeah, they become the Robin Hood. They steal from the rich and give to the poor, and they save planets. It's just hilarious.
They get rid of Thanos, so Thanos no longer becomes the big bad guy, so the Collector does instead.
Yeah,
and
so the Collector
what a role
that
is.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I watched that episode just smiling, loving
100% all the way
It was fun.
through.
The whole way was fun. And the Collector basically gets taken down in the end by that servant that dies in Guardians of the Galaxy.
By touching the stone, yeah.
Yeah, and the voice, the same actress who did it comes back to lend her voice again. So
her name is, it's going to annoy me, Karina, that's it.
Yeah, man, love
so
that.
Good.
So looking forward to
Howard
more.
the Duck. Howard the Duck actually gets a proper role in it. I loved it.
Yeah, Howard the Duck. I hope Marvel never touch that as an actual real character, a Easter egg character.
Because he's the worst movie ever made or something.
Worst movie ever made. Please, I ask everyone, do not ever let that happen again.
Oh no, I have to watch it because I've never seen the movie, but I've heard so much about it.
I've seen it. No, like you've got some films that are so bad they're good. Like Flash Gordon is so cheesy and awful, it's amazing. Yeah. This is not that.
This goes the other way.
This is so bad. It's so bad.
Oh man.
But yeah, it is one of those things. If you ever find it, watch it. See if you can get through to the end. I don't think I ever have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think I've often just gone. Yeah, I remember why I stopped watching.
That's enough.
This is bad. Yeah. Anyway, so looking forward to more What If.
Yes.
I've definitely enjoyed it. So focusing now on our podcast going forward, The Walking Dead is returning, season 11, the final season, which is going to be split over 3 parts over 2 years.
Yeah, because they weren't too clever on that, were they? What genius.
Yeah, absolute genius.
You're allowed one more series. Okay, but it's going to be 2 series long.
Yeah. and it's going to be like 5,000 episodes. So basically, The Walking Dead is wrapping with season 11. We will be covering it. We've covered The Walking Dead from the start. We will be bringing you the end game of The Walking Dead. So Walking Dead Wednesdays is returning from next week. And What If Fridays will become a thing where we talk about the latest What If episode. And obviously we will keep you up to date with all other shows that we cover, and keep an eye on the Facebook page, facebook.com/stuffandthangspodcast, where we will be posting what's coming up.
We are back in a big way.
Yeah, we are back, but now we're leaving.
And yeah, that's the end of the podcast now. Bye.
So a big thank you to everybody for listening. Big thank you to you, Stefan, for joining me. We will be back very soon. Take care, everyone.
That's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to the Stuff and Things podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find us on Facebook or online. Simply search the Stuff and Things podcast to join in our conversation every week.